Hi there, I'm here in my studio. As you can see, it's my studio that's above the barn. There's my quilt board and all my jackets that I've made, and it's lightly insulated but not thoroughly. Um, so um, uh, let's see. I'm working on a large piece for the first time in a really long time. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to be using a lot of different techniques that I've been kind of messing around with, and I thought it might be interesting to explore some of the techniques. So here's what I'm working on. It's large. It's what, 48 by 32, I think it is. It might be a little bit bigger or smaller. I don't have it perfectly. You can see it's not perfectly aligned and stuff, but we'll figure that out. And this fabric here is an African fabric that I picked up in the UK. And it's actually not African. It's made in the Netherlands, and it's what's called a wax print. So what the Dutch did was they learned how to make batiks from the Indonesians, and then they thought, well, we'll make batiks. And you can see I have a whole bunch of different patterns here. They're large patterns, a lot of these African ones. I love this one because it's like seeds and rain, which go together, obviously. So the idea was that they would start making batiks and then sell them to the Indonesians, and therefore, subjugate them even more. No, I don't know. But what happened was the Indonesians said, no, forget that. We're going to make our own batiks. We don't, and they just didn't sell. So, but what happened was, as the Dutch came by, they passed by Africa on their way to Indonesia to try and sell these batiks. And guess what? They were super popular in Africa. And the designs over time became more of what was popular with the Africans than what would have been something you made for Indonesia. Although some of the patterns are still very similar to the Indonesian batiks. So I use this because I really wanted to use the eyes, and I've used an interesting technique using cyanotype on fabric. You can get cyanotype fabric from Dharma Trading Company, which is a great group of people, and you can see what I've got here. I've got all these kind of things from popular culture, and some like taxes and fashion models and things like that. There's silicone and various. We've got Maryland, and essentially it's popular culture, and so we have all the eyes looking, and we have all the popular culture. And then here is my center, which I have been thinking a lot about. And the idea is kind of thought processes, rabbit holes, universes, places that we explore in our own minds. And this is all done, with the usual patchwork. I sew it onto this brown paper, and that way I can do free motion without it bunching up and getting weird. And then later I have to turn it over. You can see I stitched some of this. I have to rip the paper out so that it's just fabric. But this will be inset into this. The whole thing will be quilted. And on top of that, what I did was when I cut the circle out of the pattern, I ripped it open, and you can see these are the ripped pieces that came, from here, like this, right? And my plan is to have these kind of open like this, so that they are as if the thing has burst open, and you have these kind of frayed, what do you call it, burst edges coming open. And my plan is to use Foss shape to stiffen these. Foss shape is this material that I used. Here's a good example of it. This is all made with Foss shape. It's a soft, felty material that you can use to make quite stiff items, where you shape it and then you steam it and it stiffens up. So what I will do is I will use the Foss shape to stiffen these so that they make this wonderful kind of burst shapes. And then what I'll do is I'll cover them with fabric, and we'll have like a backing, and then we'll have the top surface will be something really interesting. And then the big thing is going to be how to attach it to this so that it can stick up without making the whole quilt go wonky and weird. Hopefully, if I have enough batting in here, it'll make it fairly stiff. And what I may do is I may quilt the whole thing so that it's really strong and stiff, and before I add in those pieces and connect it to this. I have some black kind of canvasy stuff that will go in behind this, so that the holes here will be black. I want them to be like this one, black, so that they're like as if you're disappearing down into a hole. And then at the bottom of the hole, on each one, I think I'm going to have something interesting, some object or some pattern, or maybe some gold work or something like that. And we'll see how that works out. So hang with me, and I will. I'll be showing you more as the process goes along. Thanks.